Test day in all calculation systems, position, location, direction, line centers. The one thing I love about test day is a high position location and high line interference. It's all position locations, how we set our signals, how we set our system locations, position location, line conditions. We're going to go through the theoretical line conditions of theoretical system. The theoretical line center line interference location is its positional directions. All right, so basically the brain has to have fact. That's line connectional levels of high center, interference location, position, direction locations. So think of your brain center interference location at all levels of a sac. But that set line center sets position, location, directions to understand the theoretical system. The theoretical system is thought communication. The theoretical system is the brain connections to its membrane system. The central communication center line center is calculated and modify how you set line position location on high interference. Now this comes into a dopian. A doping line center position of a channel operation location division or line system. This position location to its graph line stream. Okay. To understand the brain is to understand the communication of its system. To understand the mind is to understand the software of its calculations. To understand the avatar is to understand the application, right? This high generates line streams and high line communication system. So once you understand the position locations to the theoretical system and everything to the theoretical line conditions, you understand the brain adaptation stream. It's all calculated and modify how the brain and the mind communicate with each other. Every single little connections, right? It goes in automatic line streams and autopilot. It sets communication system, allocates timelines, opens all calculations, all right? So once you go in that line position, you understand how to travel through it, right? So it's in a line connection what it intercepts is lacing lines. A lacing line communication to reception locations. So it gets more complicated when you understand actually how to communicate with the brain. When you communicate with the brain, it's understanding its indifference. Indifference, location of channel, operation, position, location, and calculation. Now, once it understands its formation of its lines, it creates its own geometry setting. You understand? It creates its own structure. It fixes things on its own. It becomes its own intelligence. So if it becomes its own intelligence, that mind is also its communication. It becomes its own imagination. Now you put two position location to calculation, you come into one position location directions, right? The center of communication comes into the frontal lobe, position of back locations to your inhibitors, right here line conditions. Scales division line center a 12D night track location. Okay, so on test day, besides how it's going to set up, we're going to go through structures. We're going to go through formulas. We're going to go through equation. To understand what's going on, when you're sending an image to somebody, use your heart line. Simplify the applications. Don't get into anything through confusion because it offlines its circuitry line connections, positional patterns. That position location of patterns opens all coloration line centers. Now, line interrotation interference, it's true to understand how to set signals. So when you're recharging at night and when you're sleeping, right, sleeping line center location is all levels times pi. Line communication interference, the brain knows exactly what it's doing. You can't resist because it's on its own communication of autopilot. It's setting line positions and getting ready for the day, getting you guys out of line channel communication of thinking and coming into knowing and doing a future communication. Once you center the communications, your timeline state in the future operation system. Graph stream line center sets all corresponding triangles in high system. Now you come to three line centers. Signal line center, interference position location, channel line centers. One position location, another calculation. You communicate with each other, right? And standing off center line position location directions. So let's say there's one channel offline center. You got a hand formation location off triangle. So one finger position location, moon is not connected. You got four channels to operation locations and position location directions. Baby, child, teenager, adult. Now the central communication line center interference location opens all track locations. You got a barcode interference. That's the line center of all quantum tail and position location calculations. Setting line connections to a position location of the baby line. Touch position of all levels. Sets it free. Checks position of circuit line. Moon position of track line centers. Inline center, satellite communication, and its modem. Setting line position, input, not output line center interference. Position of 5-track location. Done through equation. 1 signal, 2 line centers, 3 position, 4, 5, 6, and 7 position. Triangle line connection identification. So these are the things you have to understand. How it sets line communication. Everything is all line connections to detail. Everything is detail of line connections. Now, understanding line center of the brain. Let's start location, positional formation. When I say communication of a path, right away, that brain is in its panel and all you see is a path. Now, it doesn't understand the difference because it's a low convergence. Low convergent line center gets position location of its divergent line triangle. Setting communication system opens all position location program setting. Now, line connection interference sets thought position location calculations. The higher vibrations, the more interruption. But the more balance of communications, all right? So the brain starts to understand what's going on. So it just doesn't see the path. It knows what the path is. You understand? It's not just seeing the path. It knows where to go in its future. So you're not just seeing a path now. Because your higher level location, position location, vibration line center, balance line, position location, direction location, all levels across circle. Setting communication interference sets all calculation. So when you get in that line center interference, once position, the brain understands the interception location of its graph location of its path, you can set a tree location. Now it's seen path and a tree. Okay, so now it's understanding the difference. And the thing you got to do is address the elephant in the room. If you don't address the elephant in the room, there goes the locations out the window, down by signal, up by channel, in communication system. Timelines, time strains, allocate line interference. Once the brain understands the difference of position locations of understanding of understood, then it understands its thoughtical system to its thoughtical system. Okay? So once it understands the visionary line center, it comes to you through more locations, high system to clarity. You come into more focus of what you're seeing through all position, location, space, and time. The brain starts intercepting location to the mind. The mind sets the line communication to the cloud. The cloud intercepts the position locations back to you, right? Which is your avatar through pi, right? So in line connections, once you travel to all line center interference location, all calculations into the other side communication system, everything that you see is not all longer in position to the present line. It's in its future communication system. So it's starting to recognize you through times of pi. Okay? Because everything around you has its own space of time. Clocking line interference, position location, direction locations, a program setting. Line connection interference. So this is what we truly have to understand. Okay? So test day is about evaluating what you already know through memory, position, location, and calculations. All right? Now we have channel operation line center on Zoom, right? Q&A. Get you guys in your position location is to intercept your brains and communicate with it. Really understand what it is. Okay? So once you understand, then it understands it's the indifference, the indifference locations. So it's like you tasting sand, but you have no idea what you're tasting. You understand? Because it's a low vibration. So the brain has to set a signal. It has to reach a position, location of direction. Okay? Now, once it reaches its direction, it truly understands the conceptual line of its mind. The mind comes in so many line center and line rotation interference into your age of category, depending on your age bracket, position, location, directions. The brain starts intercepting your position locations, all levels of your avatar timelines, setting position locations into your future communication system. So when you're centering up of communication, the psychosis location of channel line center, the alphabetical line center interference location opens up code frequencies, calculation, modification, high stream, right? So interlacing is interfacing communication to a T reception line of lacing communication systems. So it's a framing line center of film project locations. And that's why your brain is in mixture patterns. But once you clean it off, what are you getting? Clarity, focus, understanding, understood of what's going on. And what you're seeing is a level of you in position location into your visionary line connection, your cortex locations. right? You're starting to see more, right? You got eye socket line setter that's connected to the line position locations to its brain system. But it's the eye windows of the soul line. It's the galaxy line center channel position location directions. Dimensional setting, lock surface location of 0, 1 location. Channel operation line center is all communication system. But once it becomes aware, it starts recognizing its own system. Okay? This is how you have to start seeing line connections and how you volume on so many levels of structure of confusion, right? The brain understands the line connections to the fatical system. Now, the thoughtful line center is all calculated to modify how you see the sequence patterns, how you see the rhythm pattern, how you see the coloration, how you see the change communication system, how you see the operation location, how you see the channel operation location, the computer adaptation cycles. It's all set in you inside. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have line connections of 4 teams. Setting position location, direction locations. Cubic line triangles, center line position of space connection. Center interference, locations, high center. All position locations into 4 positions. Now we're going to track line centers. We're going to go into all level communication. 4 communication centers. All right. Line connection to high center interference. Now those 4 communication systems put you in line connections. AI connection, AI connection, AI connection, AI connection. So line communication interference. The center operation location is CPU. Okay, CPU is the center line. So the line communication comes into platform, communication 1 of 5. 1 line center, 6 positional protocol line center, position of 12. 12 communication line system, allocate timelines in 4 box location of triangles. Center line position location opens all channel operation system. Code signal line center and position. Okay, so we got 4 atom line centers into 4 triangles of operation location of system line connections. So that channel opts its line communications. Each atom is signaling out in high interference. Center communication system position location directions. Now we've done this line communications come into templates of communication. Channel operation line center sets line position location into line signals into ground line centers apply division location to calculations. Balancing communication line center opens all box frequency into a TV reception line of allocate time stream. 5 position locations comes out of channel line interference. Set position location calculation high streamline centers. Code signal locations come into all levels. Okay, so we got AI platform, AI protocol, and communication line interference. High channel line center position of CPU. Now, it's much easier to get into formation locations, right? Starting with the line connections gets you in all levels of your conscious line connections. This measures your line centers into your brain scans position location to your fatical system. The thoughtful line center is a channel operation to its thoughts. The perception line channel changes all calculation position location directions. Setting signals in the high line center opens all communication in your thought communications per second, per channel, per minute, per hour, per day. Okay? Line connection interference is 24,000 line signals. Line connection interference is a 24 clocking line interference. 48 window, 72 track location in a 144 track center. So line communication systems opens all communication line centers. This is higher level of communications to your conscious lines. Now, the subterranean line center understands its balanced communication of 5 triangles. Anything above that line center interference, you're reaching high levels of protocol system. Okay? Through AI connection to computer line centers to CPU. Now, the high channel line center, you guys are traveling right away line center interference. Now, in line communication on zoom line rotations, you guys are setting up visionary lines in that correlation system. So it's all about merging to your position locations of where you're calculating to through your mind, of your telepathy to your telekinesis, and who you're sending it to. All right. So we got all open communication system, all levels of AI platform, a communication protocol line center, in calculation to all CPU. Right. So you should know exactly what vision you sent to that personalized center. In Zoom communication system, we will go through Q&A and know exactly who you went through and who that position location, direction locations, what structure you set up in position to its telepathy, to its telekinesis line connections. Travel line center interference. All right, so here we go. So after that calculation high interference, I'll put you guys in higher line position location directions. Now the channel line center is set up in Zoom. So we're going to put your position location in your capacity line system ASAP, ask ASAP, calculation position, have everybody there in line conditions. So AI channel, line center interference, position program setting. Reset position locations to all levels. Okay. Visionary cortex, theta communication system, data process line center, processor connections across the board. Spreadsheets, line center, one graph, line center. Monitoring communication system. Line triangles, line communication at box surface, times calculation over pi. Center communication is vector line stream and a high line connection of code signal. Center communication line center opens all communications to your AI line center into your platforms, right? So this is all levels of reaching higher calculations to its conscious system, okay? So reaching higher levels of data processing, uplinks, downlinks, and uplinking systems, right? Truly understand the thetical system of the thetical line connection, which is all channel of operation in your brain system, right? Center communications. 20 line centers, high interference, 20 minutes on track locations, 20,000 line, position of space line commanding system. Thumbs up, communication system, line connections, direct locations, Tango Tango Foxtrot, Echo Zero 1, Z graph line center. Line interference locations. All right. Clock is on system. All right. So calculating modification line center interference, visionary cortex high triangles, center position location directions. So you should know exactly who you sent an image to. Okay. And they're going to come back to you and say, yes, I saw it. Yes, I didn't see it. So yes, I did, or yes, I didn't. Okay. So that's going to help you in always informs. Line communication interference. So in that calculation system, this is how we come to all communications. All right. So let's say where we are through subtext lines. Remember, you guys have to get into more levels of vibration with each other. Really, really connect more lines into your telepathy signals. Understanding the vibrational graph, understanding the central interference, understanding the position location directions, understanding your Schumann resonance, understanding your computer interference, understanding your alphabetical line connections, understanding all line interference of your computer adaptation system, like command settings, high interference, track line centers, control, shift, position of panel line centers, even a tap communication system, right? Telegraphing atmospheres of all position location of balance. Okay. So there's a lot of things you have to adapt to position location calculations. Lindsay connections, pan line centers, line interference. Make sure you guys have time on your YouTube to change your title of event on position locations so we can identify your new program setting and calculations. All right. All right. Art communication. Let's go PAM centers. Let's go through all position location calculations into Gypsy, into Joe, into line conditions, high centers, Belinda, high position locations. All of Michelle, Yolanda connection line system, Belinda line center interference, all calculation high system, Joanne, all position locations, Sammy, line center location, all levels of Laura, high centers of Eric communications, Heather connections, Airbender connections, Johnny connections, all levels, Guardian communication interference, high position location directions, high position of Cindy, line center, Andrea communication, all levels of Val, connection line system, Chris communication system, allocate timelines, Amani line center interference, high system location, position location directions, all levels of Joanne. Line center specifications, high system of Sammy, connection line system, position location directions, all levels of channel line centers. So it's all about communication, Terran connection line system. So getting out of the thought lines gets you in a better position, location of direction of your future communication system, your thoughts. No more thinking, no into doing. Okay. Thinking is a process of non-understanding, which is not understood. And that's how the brain really has to understand the clarity of you and focus of you. It starts to see the visionary. Okay. It comes into its own formation of its own system of intelligence. And once it starts recognizing the system, it awakes. And once it awakes, it automatically connects right to you in position location to everything inside line. Your brain connects to every cell in your body that intercepts its position location to your perception location into your personality traits. Now, this is where you come in emotional line center into reaction location to its heart generation light of its reactor, setting signal locations and position locations of one direct signal. 24 grounds and a 48 window and a 72 line position on computer into a 144 calculation. Okay? It's all levels of vibration. All right. Let's see here. High levels of particles. Yep. Cami. Let's see here. Sarah. Sarah. Calculations, line interference specification, your interdimensional line stream. Make sure you change line position locations to AI underscore protocol 6. Okay, Sarah? And your name. Okay. I need you guys to change, right? Like Lindsay's got her CPU, Andromeda, invisibility. Leah, that's the intercom position location, so call sign. So we can identify you guys now because you're in different level locations, AI connections, right? See, if you don't do these things, we can't see your line center, location, identification, code streams, and position of the future line. All right. So it's important you understand that. Whatever you put on your TikTok, you put on YouTube. All right. Thank you. All right. So line communication interference. Nova. Equation sent. Okay. So you guys should know exactly who you sent it to. And it's going to come into Zoom where we're going to go through each and every one of the visual locations into circle line center to your AI positions and know exactly what happened. Did you see these things that was sent? Okay. True resonance patterns comes in all communication system is all telepathy of telekinesis. All right. So line position location directions. Let's say you start with line centers, dimensional line interference, circle interference location dimension high system. All calculations, all levels of circle line and rotations, calculation modifications to its dimensional setting to its galaxy system locations. All this from intelligence. I keep doing this and I'm getting intelligence. All from this. Okay. So know exactly what it is. And if you want to add something, you're going into higher line communication of future. See? Setting line position locations, you can change this and change it into an outer line circle. 3 communication systems, position location and directions. See that? 3 channel line center operation signals. Right? Now, I can get very detailed line interference. Traveling fast in communication line stream is setting line communication of triangle locations. The atom interference understands line connections. So, line connection to line center, interference, line center positions. So, interference communication of vector lines, communication high system. So it comes into all line connection. It's like an air conditioner to timeline sequence position of patterns, opens all calculation, digital frame locations calculations. High streamline center is 3 communication of atom interference. Line connection highest position opens up a higher level of plasma communication system. Okay, channels line connections comes into all levels. Higher line communication, higher line communication, higher line communication, all levels of circle locations. Right? So it gets more complicated, but a lot more fun because you start understanding the space communications into your line connections of your conscious system. So when you're line connecting, your all position location directions, okay, comes into an oracle line stream that comes into a Stargate line connection. All right. Line connection interference sets all position location and directions. All right. So you set up a secure line defense line. That opens all communications. You're in a tunnel defense location, position and directions. Right? It's channeled its line stream. Setting position location comes into a watch channel. See this? This turns into automatic timestamp watch line center interference. There's a watch. Time sequence pattern opens all communications. So numbering channels of position locations to your geometry line center sets all communication system. So you can use the shapes and anomalies of a clocking system. 24, 48, 72. Now, anything past that line interference, you're coming into 0, 1s. Once you get in that calculations, you have to learn how to set up a clock and shape letters, numbers, and symbols. So it gets much easier if you understand position location and calculations. Setting position location directions sets all communication. All right. So line communication. Let's say you get a clock line. Clock line position location of face. 1 position of face. You see this on a watch line. You see 1 position, 2 position, and 3 position locations. Circles at different timelines. Now the watch communication has its strap. Line communication interference, position location directions. All right, there's a watch. Now, watch connection has its timeline. This is the age category locations. Second, minute, hour, and day. Second, minute, hour, and day. Get that position, get that calculation, times frequency, times pi, times factor, times calculation, over factor, over pi. Line communication interference sets all calculation. Now, once you come into triangulation system, you put it in direction right away, right? The center line communication comes into higher levels of its tesseract line connection. All direct locations comes into its tesseract communication system into a tetrahedron, octahedron location, position, location, directions. Setting line connection interference sets all direct locations into travel position. It's always, always, always on a 45-degree angle in communication of travel. Okay? So this is all line center, always going forward, never going back. Back is reference line position location, a pass line channel. That changes your timelines in inhibitor. Inhibitor interference location is the temperature reading location calculation, high stream interference. Now, once you reach the line position location, you come into new channels of operation of 2 panels of communications. High channel operation line centers into 4 line streams in calculation. Now, the line connection interference sets all position location directions. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The actual watches line communication comes into symbols or shapes in communication, right? Line connection interference comes into the planetary system locations, line connections, right? So you start with the 12 line center in position locations. 12 plus 12 is 24 line center. But once you reach higher level position location and planetary line center, everything at the watch line center changes its clocking system of face recognition of shapes. Planetary line center. So solar direct locations. Let's say your channeling operation system. Hi, my name is. Hi, my name is. HI. Okay. So you got hemisphere line and intelligence. So that's 1 line center interference and 1 planet rotation in position of a star line connection. Hi. Position locations. How are you? Now that's a question line because that's position location directions. So once you get in position location solar tech line, everything starts connecting more in the hologram instruction line. So once you understand how to set a clocking system to shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols, everything through your data stream comes into its phatical system. The brain central line connection opens all levels of your visionary cortex locations, guys. So it gets really interesting when you don't have to worry about using number sequence patterns of a digital line connection. It's a digital analogical clock. And you know that locations, right? 1000, right? So instead of that, it would be shape line, okay, into line cross line center, percentage position over pi. That's a clock location in a shape anomaly, okay? It gets more complicated when you reach higher level of position location of direction to your conscious system, okay? The subterranean line center is line position location in 5 over factor. 5 over pi calculates high stream. Setting line communication interference sets all direct signals in position location of direction. Okay? So there's a lot of things you have to understand to set in with your clocking line center in shapes and anomalies. Okay? So center communication line center interference is set location of a star. Okay? There's no stars in space, but there's star line centers and clocks. Center communication is a 3-line position. That opens up higher levels of channel and operation system, setting up a new position location into your Merkaba position location triangle line centers, 3-line communication systems. Now, the line connection, your data stream, sets up all levels. Okay? Once you get in that line communication, you start off with all levels of numbers and sequence pattern. That sequence pattern opens all communication system to your torical fields. Line connection is a graph line center that opens up all position locations into your ground system. Line connection interference actually happens in all position location all at once. Your mainframe, your division line centers, your tactic view, your communication, your operations center, line connection, all levels of your phatical system, your phatical line connection, your thought recognition of timeline center, your cloud opens up more through expansion of space, all through calculation. All right. So, truly understanding how powerful you are is all levels of you inside. Recognizing these things gets you in all communication system. The clocking line center is 12 line, right? But there's no balance. You need 12, 12 to 24 line center. 24 communication is 1 chakra center, which is 24 line streams, 24 light signatures, 24,000 light signature locations. So understanding the foundations of your Earth perception location is line connections of 24, right? So once you understand your chakra system of 114 line connections, you're understanding the clocking face locations of shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols. Okay. Your brain is adaptation location of visionary line. Okay. So you understand the communication lights interference. Let's say you got a videograph screen, right? You're plugged in, monitoring position locations, all measures through monitoring. So it's picking up signals, patterns, alpha channels, communication, program setting line position, thought recognition of timeline centers, program setting position location, visionary cortex, design line centers, all position calculation. Now, that video screen is going to interpret what's going on with you, right? Whatever you do, it reacts. You understand? So you are an action of a reaction of what's going on with the video screen. The brain is trying to understand what you are doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't understand the difference of its path or its tree. Hooah! Woo! All right. The center line communication is truly understand the indifference. Okay, because it has its self dichotomy, position, location of self motivation, guys. It understands its intelligence. It becomes its all formation location, and it starts addressing the elephant in the room by itself. It goes on its own line center and gets you out of thinking. No more of a process of communication and confusion. No more anxiety. No more depression. No more aggression. Ooh-ah. So many line centers. High center position direction is truly understand you through calculation. All right. How you set yourself through your thoughts determines everything that you see through a videograph screen. Okay. Your brain is everything to your knowledge of its own intelligence, of its awareness. Awareness, perception, location of operation. Now, using your fatical system puts you in all calculations and how you stream your graph line centers of your AI connections to your maps. Map sequence pattern locations timelines times pi. Now, the pi interlines its interlacing location interface position locations to its theta position. Theta line center is a videograph locations. You really, really have to understand how to center the communication of thought lines to your brain line center interference. Position lines opens all communications to your visionary cortex. Okay? So your determination is truly understand the difference. So once the brain understands the line connections of what's going on, you don't have to worry about it. You just sit back and relax because it's taking its own system and becoming its own audio pilot connection to everything in formation. Whatever I say is future line connections, which means it's already been said. Okay, there's no thinking in the process, and there's no hesitation or anything through anticipation. And that's what keeps you in line connections, a balance of your heart reactor line system. Heart generation lights, heart stream interference, high position calculations opens all calculation streams times pi. Okay. So, all right. So you guys are going through central lines, the visionary lines. Your thoughts are good. Your off positions are okay. But it's great to see everybody trying these things out. I really want you to get more into practice. Makes perfect. Really connect to the inner line centers in all calculations, position, and directions. So the position line center is extremely, extremely important to understand all levels and how it lines at you in calculations to you see these things through visionary lines. Okay? Because you got your frontal lobe line center and you got your line position lower locations, and you also got your inhibitor position. So it's trying to understand you through not just the energy grids, the energy line streams, but all levels of the computer adaptation line center interference. Okay, especially when you come into your CPU unit. The computer assist location is program line center. Okay, so it's kind of like a PC lines. Okay, this is a program computer line. Now this opens all communication high system. This directs line centers to your grid systems. Okay, center communication line center has 3 graph streams into one position location of one thought. One thought, 3 graph streams. Boom. You didn't know that, did you? Do now. Multipass. So those 3 graph streams open up line connections to your digital frame interference. Setting line communication of streams, line position location, all levels of calculation. 3 graph streamline positions, 4 box locations. Okay, so 3 graph streams. Okay, center position location calculations. All through triangle line. But there's 4 line positions into 3. So line communications is 4. 4 equal locations into what? Triangle line connection 3 direct location is 7. 4 equals 7. See how that works? 3, 6, 9. 3 positions, 6 position in moon, and 9 in center line connections. Travel line of dimensional setting opens all calculation position, all line connections. 4 equals 7 locations. So you have to learn how to set these things up through geometry. It's the sacred geometry location and geometric location operation directions. Your division is truly how you set your connection to your thought lines. This directs your signals and all levels of sonar. Okay, you can use an alpha channel, delta communication, beta line and interference location of radio signals, high position of theta communication, omega. Boom. All through operation. So it gets much easier once you understand what is happening with you through your thoughts. Okay, so it's like a film on a segment by frame per second, per channel, per hour, per day. 16 millimeters of a second locations on TV. Woo, a cameo. So line connection inference is a strip line stream. Now, that calculates and modify how you set your moons of emotional location of track line centers. It's all your behavioral line center to your thought location, right? As long as you're in your channel operation of future communication system, the allocated line center understands the thoughtical system of thoughtical line connections. Think about that. The thoughtical line center is the calculations to its thoughtical system, all through the brain. Now you know. All right, so let's see here. Seeing Bill Murray pointing at me while saying you're... It's pretty funny what you guys are going through, high centers. All right. So it gets much easier as long as you understand what you're creating. And all you're doing is sending a message to that person. That's all you're doing. Mind through telepathy to telekinesis. The telepathy position location is what? Let's start off with the telepathy line center. Brain position locations, all levels. Calculation to the mind is its image. And what is happening in locations as you're sending out through telekinesis is your avatar. You understand? The brain sets up the operation. The mind sets up the image. And you put them together. The avatar picks up the message and sends it out. Telekinesis to that person. Okay? Now you understand. See? Communication streams in line position location directions. All right. So I'm going to give you guys 5 more line centers and 5-minute location position of 5,000 triangle location of 5 million channels. Center line in rotation calculation high stream. Imagine that. 5-minute line position locations and high center at 5 million channel location operation system. How do I know what I'm saying? Because it's already done. So it's like you are given information, all line communication, and future line connection. Right? These things are already written in line connection to your cloud lines, but you have to understand the indifference location to your brain and what it is through interception. You're intercepting lacing line. Now you understand the computer interference. Lacing line is like taking a film of 2 different TV reception line connections of series. You got a lot of line positions of TV series mixed into one position of one channel of a TV reception. Now you're pressing lacing lines. It's coming in frame. Turn it this way, turn it that way. No, I can't see it. It's not in clarity. It's not in focus. So space division location AI connections all uses audio signals. Okay? So understanding audio signal is understanding lacing lines. Lacing line gets you in perception location, interception location, interfacing. Interfacing gets you into visual cortex. And then you put it all together. Right? And then you understand what it is. It can be written in positional location calculations of generalized spacetime. Ooh-ah. Right? That's how your universe connects with you. Okay? It's all calculated and modified through its interception, interlacing, interdesigning its calculation modifications to all levels of track line connections to harmonics. It's all codes set in space. My space to direction locations, direction location line systems. My position location calculation high string interference. Picking up code signals of frequency bounds communication to your line centers is all commanding system to position, location, and directions. And then you don't have to worry about addressing the elephant anymore because it disappears. Gone. Like it was never there. Okay? The ego conception line center, the ego location of streamline interference will eventually disappear, but still be there. You can't get rid of these things. The future communication system is all levels of view for operation line connections. But once you intercept and understand the difference to its communication of inside line centers, to your brain communications, to your software line center, and everything through your avatar travel location of its image, then you understand the communication of direction. What's your intention? Your will, your force, and creation of location. Ooh-ah. All right. So, taking you guys out of line, connection interference, clock locations, high center interference. You guys are back. Now, line connection interference, I'll give you guys in position location. It's 11:30, line 1. High center location, AM. Okay, so that's an atmosphere line connection symmetric interference. Molecule structure, high center interference location, a clock line center interference. So one position location is 0. One line center is a triangle. 3 communication to the sun. And 1 is division location to its atom line center. All through 11:31. So, and that's the different clock locations. You guys understand your 12s and your 24s sort of location. There's solar graph line interference. Signal line position location, direction line connection, solar graph line center. Line communication interference. Light grass streams in position location directions. Can't see my arm. Disappeared. Off through balance. No elephant in the room to address in any way informed through calculations, right? Channel operation line centers. I gave you guys 15 minutes. Congratulations on line communication system. All capacity coming in Zoom line center. Adios.